Welcome, everyone, to episode 26 of the Missing Pieces podcast. If this is your first time watching or listening, as this is available everywhere that podcasts are available, this is where I sit down and I discuss my life and Lego and anything else that was on my mind from the last week. And this week I had a lot on my mind, as I typically do, probably even more so this week. But before we get into any of that, I need to start this video off. If you are one of the ones that are watching this and not listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I'm trying out a new video setup here. And you guys are going to have to let me know how it looks. I did a little bit of an upgrade, at least I hope so. I have it all set up. I tested this out last night. This is the first time I'm actually using it in a practical way. And if there's no video with this, or if it's out of focus, or it looks terrible, that is totally on me. And I would recommend just maybe listening to this from here on. Maybe even more so if it is looking good, because you're probably seeing a little bit more detail than you were before, which is not so good for this region right here. But beyond that, we're going to get into some show feedback from last week before we start talking about this week's topics. And I want to start this off on a little bit of a light note. I know last week's show was a little heavy, and maybe this one will be as well, because it's some crazy times we're going through here. So we're going to start this off with a comment from Ace Brickman 15, who is replying to how I used the C word in the last episode. And he says, "I don't think you should be worried about Chima, the theme that ended a long time ago, Greg. That's the C word you're talking about, right?" And it was. That's exactly what I was talking about. I think everyone on their mind right now is really worried about this pop-up of Chima that's happening all over the world. It started in China, and now it's spreading through Europe and the United States, Canada. It's everywhere now, and I just think we're going to be overrun with Chima, and we definitely better prepare. And I think the best way to prepare is by reading an actual comment from last week's episode. This is from SBearden73, a longtime listener, and just always leaving really nice feedback. And he says, this is in response to the C word that may or may not be Chima. It says, I've seen filming productions going on hiatus and cancellations. So yes, it will affect ads. We were talking about how the Chima is going to, that's how we're going to talk about it from now on. We're going to talk about how Chima it was going to affect the economy specifically. In my case, I make videos on YouTube, and my income is determined by advertising. So he said, I believe the media blew things out of proportion. I believe the best approach is to close down for 4 weeks just to minimize the Chima outbreak and not overwhelm our medical industry. I apologize for making a joke of this, because I know it is very serious, but we have to find a way to get through this. That's me speaking, not S. Bearden. But back to S. Bearden. Said the recession would hit hard and fast, but would have the best chance to rebound in record time. Most of the recession would come from fear of the unknown. If we all pause for a month, give us a chance to see how bad the Chima outbreak is, then some of the unknown will be known. I do believe the overreaction of buying all the TP or toilet paper is ridiculous. I think the panic is from not already being prepared for something to go bad. We'll always have plenty of non-perishables, and that's how our parents shopped when me and my wife were kids, or my wife and I were kids. Before the flu vaccine, if you got the flu, you'd be out of work for 7 to 10 days. Now people go to work with the flu. My state has closed schools through April 24th. I've had medical issues for over the past year and unable to work, so I've already been home. My wife is already on temporary time off due to slow at work, so we'll take advantage of the time together as a family, as well as individually building our own Lego collections. I've been collecting since the 70s. My son is 13 and has played with Lego since around 4. My wife just recently got the Lego bug and has her own camp/amusement park. I'm jealous of you, as she is working on. If it wasn't so bad, we could just go, or if it wasn't so cold, we could go out camping. Take Lego with us, of course. So I thought that was a really good comment, talking about some very serious things, but making some positivity of it. And I think that's really awesome that you're just kind of thinking like, all right, we're just going to bunker down. We're going to build some Lego sets. And I know a lot of you other guys and girls that are watching this are kind of feeling the same way. And that kind of takes us into, I guess, our next topic. It's a perfect segue, so I thank you for that, S. Bearden. Our first week quarantine. So we've been home, of course. Mrs. Brickitect's school. She's a teacher, if you guys didn't know. Her school obviously shut down, in Pennsylvania schools. Everything's shut down at this point. So we've been home for the last week together. Of course, Clark is home as well. And we've been quarantined. What have we been doing? Well, if you've been following me on Brickitect Live, I've kind of gotten addicted to streaming again, because I had this thing in my mind, and I may have talked about this last week, but it was definitely solidified this week. I thought, how cool would it be? You have all these people home, all these people that are bored. I've talked to many of them personally. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a place where there's a live stream happening and there's just some people hanging out, talking? You could be a part of it. You could be chatting. You could be working on building your amusement park as S. Bearden's wife, or, organizing your collection, cleaning your room, maybe just hanging out and just having a place to be. And I just thought I want to be a positive resource for that. So this entire week I've been doing quarantine streams every single day for like an hour and a half every day. Just jump on with some friends of mine in the Lego community, and I work on some sets here and there. And I've been having a great time with that. It's definitely helped with the backlog. Of course, you guys saw me finish the treehouse, which is right there, and you saw my opinion on that. Matt, again, if you're watching or listening to this, I apologize for my honest review. And even after saying in that video that I know there's going to be somebody that comes out and says that I'm rude for giving my honest opinion because someone sent me a set for free and I should be grateful for that, I still got one comment that said that, and I'm just like, oh, dude, there's a difference between appreciating something that someone does for you and then giving an honest opinion and an objective review, or maybe it's subjective review of a set when you're done building it. It's two very different things. So I hope you guys appreciated my honesty in that review. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out the Lego Ideas Treehouse honest review video, and you can see how I feel about that. It's a great display piece. In fact, it's not even on its permanent display right there, but it's at least out of the way and not getting broken, although it is very low, which means it's at Clark level, and that can be very dangerous as well. So that's going to have to maybe migrate up, and I think that'll look really cool up by the ceiling with like it being a tree and you're looking up at it. I've got visions, guys, but that sounds I got visions. That doesn't sound good. But yeah, it's been a really fun week doing the quarantine streams. I've kind of been making a joke of this the best that I can, as you guys have seen in the beginning there with my Chima talk, and inserting a whole bunch of Chima talk into S. Bearden's comment as well. But that's what you have to do. Like, you can really let this get you down. And I think you guys need to hear this, especially if you've been watching the news. You can really let this get you down, but there's so much of this that isn't out of your control. I think, like S. Bearden says, the best thing to do is just kind of stay home, hopefully have some things stocked up, some food and stuff, and just kind of enjoy that time with your family, or enjoy whatever hobby you have. Heck, just sit and watch Netflix or play video games or whatever it is that you want to do. Just do what you enjoy, and hopefully by the time things get really nice outside, this is all kind of over with for the most part, but I guess that remains to be seen. One thing I do want to talk about that kind of reminded me of something else that I'm kind of getting into: video games. Oh my goodness, the streaming bug, of course, has hit me. And of course, I have a gaming channel, Games with Greg, if you want to check it out. It's officially youtube.com/Games with Greg and Clark, preparing for the future. I'm thinking about getting back into gaming. I know that's another thing that people are always asking me about. They always want me to do some gaming streams and stuff, especially games like Minecraft, where Clark plays that, and Fortnite. So I decided this week that maybe we'd get back into that. Clark is playing Minecraft at least every other day, and I thought it'd be fun for him to stream that. But I was having issues with my PlayStation, and I couldn't figure out why the streams were so crap coming directly from the PlayStation. Because if you guys didn't know, if you want to become a PlayStation 4 live streamer, all you have to do is, I think it's hit the... Is it the share button on here? Yeah, hit the share button on your PS4 controller if you're watching this. You hit that button, and as long as you're like signed into your YouTube account, you can start live streaming your games from there, which is really cool. And if you have a headset, you can talk to people. So maybe you could become the next Ninja, the only live streamer I know that does gaming. You can become like the next Ninja during this quarantine. Who would have thought that something as bad as this could have spurred your career into your dream field that you've always wanted to do? But yeah, that's definitely not me. I'm definitely not going to make it as a professional gamer, but I can be an entertaining gamer. And I was trying to figure out why my PlayStation was crap at streaming, and why it looked like, even when I wasn't playing Minecraft, everything was pixelated like Minecraft and had all kinds of lag. And it turns out the original PlayStation 4 doesn't hook up to our 5 gigahertz connection, our internet connection we have here, which is not good because the other one is slow and that one's fast. And also I can't stream in 1080p. So I was on the cusp of getting a PlayStation Pro, which can resolve those two issues this week, because I thought, you know what, this is going to be a great investment. I'll be able to stream all the time, and this $300 and some odd system I'm about to buy might actually pay for itself by the end of the year. But then it was literally the same day that they announced the PlayStation 5, and I'm like, dude, this is probably not the best investment, because I'm going to play this for between 6 and 9 months or so, whenever the new one comes out. They're saying holiday 2020, and then I'm not going to play it again most likely, and I'd have to sell it and all this. So I'm going to go to my old school setup, which I didn't want to do, and that's using an Elgato game capture card and running it through my computer and doing all this stuff. It's almost essentially what I'm doing right now with recording this video. I think I'm going to have to try to do it that way. And I don't love that as much because it ties up my computer, especially in times when Clark is playing Minecraft. And I like to edit sometimes during that. But I think I can make the sacrifice to let him play for 30 minutes or whatever and entertain at least a few people. And I always love when I get onto my gaming channel, which is, you could call a dead channel for the most part. It's linked down below, by the way, if you want to subscribe if you're into that. There's always like 17, 20 people, 25 people that are there like anytime I stream. So it's like, it's so cool. It feels like super rewarding to just be like, yeah, I'm going to live stream this game after 6 months not being there. And there's like some peeps there. So thank you guys. If you're one of the select people that have endured my hiatus in gaming, I'm coming back. I even have an idea. I want to do something that's kind of like mellow and laid back. Maybe I'll save this idea because I want to do a couple different things, but I had this idea. I'll give you this one. This is a PlayStation idea, but I also have some PC gaming ideas that could be fun as well. I was thinking about doing golf with Greg, like once a week or whatever. I'm gonna get whatever golf game, get something kind of fun, maybe not too sim-like, but I just sit down and play like 9 holes of golf while I talk to you guys. So it'd be something it could be considered pretty boring, but I felt like golf would be good as opposed to a game like Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever, because it'd be like super interactive, because it's kind of slow paced and I could be talking to the chat or talking about whatever. I could even probably do a podcast while I play golf, which would be kind of cool. And I got the idea from Hank and John Green. They have a channel called Games with Hank or something like that, or Hank's Games. And John plays FIFA, which is soccer, football for everyone else in the world. And he talks about whatever and like viewer topics and stuff, and it's really cool. So I see a lot of potential for me in that and like expanding that hobby. And the only way that I can justify playing video games, because I do feel like it's not the best use of my time, is by streaming it and entertaining people. And the same thing for live streams. Like if I'm going to be building, I might as well be streaming it. I might as well be entertaining if I can. And I get a lot of joy out of that. And what I'm really loving from doing the streams is the social aspect of it, whether it be talking to the people in my group that we're hanging out or just talking to the people in the chat and stuff. It's just super rewarding, and that's why I'm getting addicted to it. I am going to try to be a little careful here though, because I've been down this road before. 2018, I was addicted to live streaming the entire year. Like I was doing, January is when it hit. I Build with Bricks, who won my very first subscriber contest at 10,000. I was following him and I saw him do a live stream one night. And there was these people, like I really hadn't been a part of any YouTube live streams before, Lego or otherwise. And there was these people there. And they were talking to him and he was talking back, and I was like, dude, this is cool. And I said something like, everybody there knew me because he won my contest. So it was like all my subscribers. And I'm like, I want to be a part of this. So I started streaming thereafter, and I was just going so hard that I even created a separate channel for it. And it got a little out of hand. So 2019, I dialed that back a good bit. But now I find myself getting lured back into the world of live streams, and I better be careful because I'm going to get in trouble with Mrs. Brickitect, and that's not something any of us want. Which, speaking of that, you guys really let me down last week. I had a challenge for you, which you failed miserably at. I said last week, if our episode, Missing Pieces 25, got 800 likes, Mrs. Brickitect would do an episode of Missing Pieces with me. You guys, you did okay. We went from 300 likes the previous episode to 477, but it was nowhere near the 800 that we need for Mrs. Brickitect to come down here. She doesn't come down for anything less than 800 likes. Let's just be honest here. So I'm going to keep this challenge alive. I'll try to mention it each week. The first episode that gets 800 likes, and I know it's possible because last week over 4,000 people watched this episode. And every one of you dudes and girls, you all have the opportunity to take half a second to click that little button there, whether it's on your computer or on your phone or whatever the heck you're watching this on, your ham radio. Maybe on a TV you don't have that option, but everyone else, you all have that option. You have that ability to click a button. It's all you have to do. 800 likes, Mrs. Brickitect does an episode. She hasn't necessarily agreed to this yet, but I'm going to tell her that, I worked really hard to have this happen, and now she has to. I don't know if we'll have camera on during that episode, but you'll be graced with the presence of Mrs. Brickitect. So now's your chance. And I'll give you a second here. Giving you a second. Okay, we're done. This might be the last time I mention it. Maybe, if we naturally get to 800 likes. And I don't know why I picked that number. I think it was because it was like almost unattainable. But I think we can do it. And I believe in you guys. So let's move on to the next topic. I talked about my quarantine week. I talked about how I'm maybe getting into gaming. In fact, I even have a monitor set up here ready to do that. And I think I was actually looking into possibly upgrading my computer too, because if you can hear my computer right now, and you might be able to hear it through the microphone, and maybe you didn't hear it before, but you're going to hear it now. The fan on this thing is like in high gear. It sounds like my computer is about to blast off from Cape Canaveral or something here. It's taxing my 6-year-old MacBook Pro, so I'm thinking about possibly getting a new MacBook Pro or possibly an iMac. The only issue with the iMac is I can't take it with me places, and sometimes I stream over there where you can see the Fiat that's been built. I finished that yesterday in live streams. Live streaming is the cure for the backlog. Wait, no. Coronavirus, no, that's bad. Coronavirus is the cure for the backlog? That could be in bad taste. I don't know what we're going to call it. Quarantine is the cure for the backlog. That could be what it is. I'm down here live streaming. We're building sets. Clark's building sets. We're doubling up. We're getting things built. It's pretty cool. And if you guys want to join us this week, I'm going into a whole new topic this week. We're going into Apocalypseburg. Building Apocalypseburg during the Apocalypse stream starting today. Going to be lasting for 7 days, ideally. I'd like to build that set in a week. It's 3,000 pieces, so it's very much like the treehouse, only I'm thinking maybe a little bit easier to build, probably. I'm going to be working on that pretty much every chance that I get when I'm live streaming. So if you want to subscribe to Brickitect Live, I know this is turning into one big ad for all the other things that I do, but this is where you can find me, Brickitect Live. Turn on notifications because YouTube is doing a terrible job at notifying people of live streams as they're coming up. Have notifications turned on. I try to schedule the streams. You can set reminders and stuff like that, but I'll be streaming there. All of Apocalypseburg. I'll also be doing some streams with my Patreon. So if you want to join us on Patreon, $5 a month will get you access to a whole slew of Brickitect exclusive content. So if you love these kind of videos, these podcasts where it's more mellow, calm, maybe some things you wouldn't get otherwise, check out our Patreon. That's linked down below as well. Brickitect, or patreon.com/Brickitect. You can find that there. And I'd love to have you there. We actually had, I think, like 3 more people join us within the last couple days, and I should have their names up here. I'm going to start shouting out you guys and missing pieces. I feel like it's an appropriate time to do it. But I want to thank you guys so much for coming over and joining us. But that takes us to the next topic here. After my building spree throughout the week, I had to do a run to the grocery store. Well, I didn't have to. We already had supplies. I made 2 previous runs. I'm just stocking up. I'm not buying toilet paper. Even if I wanted to, you couldn't do that because it's pretty much out everywhere. But I went to the store to get like non-perishables, almost like what Esbjorn was saying in the beginning there. Because I'm thinking like, the first week, like which would have been the week before this previous week, I was thinking like, I want to get this stuff done before things get bad, and that way I don't have to go out. And this last week, I noticed there was a few things that, I kind of forgot to get, and I wanted to stock up on a few more things. So, and I had to get brickitect mail, which we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit. So Friday, I made the decision that I was going to go out to brave the elements out there and possibly face down Chima. Unfortunately, there has been no Chima in our area directly. In the state of Pennsylvania, it's kind of hit in the 2 big cities, which is Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and we're right in the middle, so it's creeping its way over, but there's been no cases in our county, so I still felt somewhat safe going out, even though when I went to the grocery store, like, with all the people there, anybody that was around me, I'm just like, I'm not breathing around you, don't breathe around me, I hear you cough, I'm going to be running to the other aisle. But when I got to the grocery store, it was pretty wiped out. I live in a pretty small town, or the grocery store I went to is a pretty small town, and just in the produce section, like, I was like, dude, I'll stock up on some various things, like potatoes hold for a while. I bought the last of the potatoes, and I didn't buy like a truckload. I bought potatoes. I bought the last 4 sweet potatoes they had there. I bought the last onions they had there. Mrs. Brickitect's planning to make like this vegetable soup, which is going to be fantastic that we can eat off for a few days. But things were low. Like I needed some jalapenos. Apparently someone stocked up on jalapenos for the apocalypse here. I don't know what they're thinking, but we were having nachos, and I wanted to have jalapenos on those. The struggle is real here in the world of Chima. But going through the store, I mean, mostly everything else is there. You could see the canned goods were wiped out pretty good. There was still things to be had. There was like meats. There was rice if you're trying to like become like a real survivor. There was beans, all the stuff that you would need. There was no toilet paper, of course. So the true survivors, the toilet paper warriors, they all stocked up on what they felt was necessary to survive the legend of Chima for months and months just by using toilet paper and eating toilet paper apparently. But everyone else, all the sensible people, and it seemed to be like just normal people were out there. They did have rations on milk. You can only buy 2 gallons of milk. They had rations on eggs. You can only get like 1 or 2 dozen eggs. One thing that was out though was butter. Butter completely gone. all they had left was like, I can't believe it's not butter, and different margarines and stuff. And if you guys don't know, that stuff is not good. I would recommend not eating that. If you do eat it, probably stop doing that. I've heard, and I don't know if there's any truth in this, I'm not a scientist, but it's like one molecule away from being plastic, margarine. And I could be wrong about that. Please don't comment about that. If you're going to comment anything on this episode, leave me something worth talking about, not debating whether margarine is good or bad for you. I'd really hate for that to I hate for that to be a thing, because I am doing show feedback next week, and I don't want that to be a thing. So please don't. But I got butter. It just happened to be like the most expensive butter in the world. It was like some Vermont natural creamed butter. It was like $5 for like a stick of it, but that was something I didn't really think about acquiring. I got like a lot of non-perishables, and I'm turning storage room B, which is right over my shoulder here, into, I guess, like a mini grocery store pantry type thing. I didn't think about getting butter. I thought about getting like canned goods. Speaking of canned goods, they tell you during survival situations, don't get items that you wouldn't ordinarily get otherwise. And I happen to see this thing that I thought that I liked before, which is Chef Boyardee raviolis. They're terrible, man. I try to can them. I'm like, God, these things are awful. Sorry for all you Chef Boyardee lovers out there, but holy, it's just some terrible tasting stuff. But I have like 3 more cans, and I guess when things get really bad, I'll have to eat Chef Boyardee raviolis again. Maybe I'll make that a live stream for all you guys that are like really desperate for content. Speaking of that, Snackitect, we have Snackitects we need to do. People have sent us snacks that we need to eat, all of which were sent before the Chima took over. So I think we're safe there to eat those. And I have to do some breaking it down, like some massive breaking it down. If I wasn't building these sets that I'm building, which is Apocalypseburg, and that's where I'm pointing down here, I'd be doing breaking it down. I also want to come down and do some 5 a.m. Lego as well, because I just like this. This is what I like doing. I like just a little quiet episode where we can sit here and we can just chill out and talk about whatever. And I want to do more of that. Speaking of other series that may or may not be happening, Mail Time. You guys have loved and enjoyed Mail Time as much as we have for the last 2 years. And I'm really concerned about Mail Time. If you guys watched yesterday's episode, I'm now rationing out Mail Time. I did go to the post office when I was out. That was pretty much like, I was like, I need to get mail, and I need some things at the grocery store. So I went to those two places. And I also had to mail out the winner of the DC CMFs for that contest, and I had to mail out Jake's Harley Davidson. That was the sketchiest that I got at the post office, because I like used my sleeve to open the door, but then it came down to me signing for the stuff I was sending out, and I had to touch the pen that everyone touches when they sign for things, and I was just like, but again, I use like hand sanitizer or whatever after that, but there's no cases in our county yet. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. There just hasn't been anyone hospitalized for it or died from Chima. So I still felt safe going out this last week. I don't know going forward. I don't know if next week I'm going to feel safe. I don't know if the next week after that I'm going to feel safe. Maybe I'll just do a run. Like, I want to keep Mail Time alive. I've been rationing out. I still have like 4 packages left from last week, so maybe we can open up two. My fear is that if I stop doing Mail Time, it's just going to disappear, and that's going to be the end of that. And then that would make me sad, because it's like, it's something that I know Clark and I really look forward to. And you guys, like I said, you guys watch the videos, so I'm assuming you do as well. But I love the interactivity of that. I love the reading the letters. I like seeing the surprises that are inside there. Of course, everyone likes getting surprises in the mail. I don't think of anything that could be cooler than that. But what I really love about this so much, and I was talking to Mrs. Brickitect about this last night, yesterday, for example, and I'm going to use you as an example, Owen. We got a package from Owen, and being that we kind of slowed down Mail Time a little bit because we're only doing 2 packages, I felt like I could really spend a proper amount of time enjoying Owen's package. And I just imagined, like, we instead of it being like a 2-minute thing where we're rushing through it to show this because we have 15 other things to open, we slowed it down. We built the little build that Owen had. We showed off all this stuff in there. And I started thinking of Mail Time from the perspective of an Owen, who I'm sure is 13 years old, but he may be Kappa, FTC, if you're listening to this, he's definitely not younger than that. And I think about how awesome that would be if you really enjoyed watching a particular YouTube channel and you sent them this package. How cool would it be to see them really take the time to open it and enjoy it and thoroughly go through it? And just like, really, when I open these packages, I like to think that I'm talking to that person, just like I'm talking to you right now. I want to talk to Owen. And I just think that's really awesome. And I feel equally as bad for someone that, and I know we've done this before because when I'm cleaning up after mail time, I find things that we didn't even open up, sig figs that are still in bags. I find pieces of, just random gifts that people send that it's like, oh crap, I didn't even show that in the video. I feel like for that person, I would be kind of let down. Like if you put this care package together and then your favorite Lego YouTuber, if that happens to be me, thank you, gets it and they're just like blasting through it because they have 2 other packages that they still need to do and they're 15 minutes into a mail time video. Maybe mail time will just end up starting to be 1 hour long. I don't know. People probably don't have the time for that. I'll tell you, it's a mother for me to edit it, but it's even more of a mother for me to edit it when I'm trying to make it as quick as I can. When we just take our time and like we can just be like this, I don't have to do as many cuts. Usually I'm cutting the heck out of that thing to try to make it like punch, 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 because I know the attention span of YouTubers. In fact, if you're here dang near 30 minutes into this episode, you are not in the 99% of people that watch YouTube, because most people's attention span on YouTube is probably between 5 seconds and 3 minutes. So if you make a 15-minute mail time video, that's really pushing people's attention spans. If you have even just a few seconds where there's not a lot of action happening, people are already moving on to the next thing. They're looking for the next video to watch. So I try to cater to those people, but maybe more importantly, I should cater to the people that really matter, and that's the people that send us these things. So maybe this mail time rations has actually turned out to be somewhat of a good thing, where I can think of this as though just take my time with just a couple packages and enjoy them. And of course, the second thing that we got, which was Bozo yesterday, that was a big hit. I don't know whether that was intended for Greg's World or for brickitect. I'm probably going to chop a bit of that out and put it on Greg's World in case that person doesn't watch brickitect, because it was just titled To Clark Man and had our P.O. box, which of course is the same between the two. Regardless, Clark loved that thing. I have never seen a Lego channel feature one of those before. But every day is a surprise here, and you never know what you're going to come across. But dude, that was great. So the Austin, I don't even remember what they called themselves, the Austin fans or something like that. Thank you guys so much for making mail time amazing yesterday. I hope you guys enjoyed my drop kick on that. I wasn't permanently injured, so that's a good thing. But we had a fantastic time, and I just want to keep doing more of that. So I probably am gonna not check the mail for a couple weeks, or maybe I should go out next week. I guess we'll kind of see how things go. If my county's still not hit very hard, I could probably brave it. I'll go out like this, have my shirt up on my face like that. I'll wear like a complete. What if I bought a hazmat suit and I go into the post office like that? That could be a fantastic video. Again, making light of this in times when we probably shouldn't be, but that I find humor sometimes to be a good way to get through things, and I hope that you guys are able to find some humor and some joy and just a little bit of happiness in these scary times we're going through, where a lot of people are being very negatively affected, and the economy and everything is just kind of in limbo right now. I hope you can find a little bit of joy in your life, and I want to thank you so much if I can be a little part of that, or if I'm the source of that. I really appreciate that, and there's no greater honor. So on that, guys, that's pretty much all I had to talk about this week. Again, if you want to follow us through our live streams we're doing, we'll be doing that in Brickitect Live throughout this week. If you want more content behind the scenes and extra videos that you couldn't find otherwise, you can join us on Patreon, or if you just want to keep watching the videos here and enjoying those, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I can't thank you enough for the life that you guys have provided for me. This is my life stream that we're doing here, and what better time to be an introverted Lego YouTuber than right now. I can make content for you guys like crazy, and you're home to watch it, and I'm happy to provide that. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Missing Pieces, and we'll end this one as I always do. We'll find you guys in the next episode of Missing Pieces. That was kind of awkward.